No matter how much someone knows about their field, there will always be questions they just can't answer. Even the most genius expert runs into discoveries that challenge everything they thought they understood. Archaeologists are no exception. They spend their lives trying to make sense of objects and remains left behind by ancient civilizations. But some discoveries refuse to fit into any accepted explanation. And in this video, we'll look at exactly these kinds of finds that still leave archaeologists, historians, and scientists searching for answers. Let's begin this list with number 15. Queen Pwabi's tomb well. Royal tombs usually tell us who someone was. Queen Pwabi's burial leaves a far weirder question. What made her so rare? Back in 1928, while excavating the ancient city of Ur, British archaeologist Sir Leonard Woolley reached a burial chamber unlike anything he had seen before. At its center rested Pwabi, wearing a unique headdress woven from gold, lapis lazuli, and carnelian, crafted with a level of skill that still impresses modern goldsmiths. Around her lay 74 attendants, carefully arranged in neat rows with almost no sign of panic or struggle. Most researchers believe they willingly drank poison as part of an elaborate royal funeral, although exactly why remains uncertain. Her cylinder seal identified her only as Nin, meaning queen or lady, with no king mentioned beside her, suggesting she held authority in her own right. Woolley's excavation notes also recorded unusual proportions in her skull, a detail that never appeared in his final publication. Her remains are still preserved at the Penn Museum, but a complete modern osteological study has never been published. So, the question is, why? Number 14. The melted steps of Dendera. Did the ancient Egyptians somehow melt stone? People have wondered that for years after seeing one strange staircase inside the temple of Dendera. Rather than showing the rough damage expected from thousands of years of footsteps, several of its stone steps look weirdly distorted, with rounded edges and surfaces that almost look as though they softened before hardening again. The appearance has inspired many discussions because ordinary weathering does not seem to tell the whole story. One explanation suggests an intense source of heat may have affected the stone long ago, perhaps during ancient rituals or through another event no longer recorded. A different proposal argues the material might have been poured or formed in a semi-liquid state, leaving unusual marks as it hardened. Well, none of these ideas has been accepted as the final answer. The temple itself is celebrated for great craftsmanship and precise construction, making these warped steps feel even more out of place. Whatever happened here has left archaeologists, historians, and geologists with a question they still cannot settle. Number 13. The Step Pyramid of Edfu. Egypt has no shortage of pyramids, but one of its oldest examples has spent centuries raising a question that no one has answered. Buried beneath sand in the town of Edfu, archaeologists found a 4,600-year-old step pyramid built from sandstone blocks joined with clay mortar. Unlike the famous pyramids at Giza, this structure hides no burial chamber, royal coffin, or obvious reason for its existence. That alone has kept historians arguing for decades. It belongs to a rare group of 7 provincial pyramids scattered across central and southern Egypt, all sharing a similar design and all standing close to ancient settlements. Researchers believe it may have been built during the reign of Pharaoh Huni or Sneferu, before the Great Pyramid ever dominated the horizon. Food offerings discovered nearby hint that it represented royal authority. Yet later, graffiti and the burials of children around its base suggest the monument gained new meanings as centuries passed. Every clue seems to answer one question while creating another, leaving this forgotten pyramid among Egypt's most puzzling archaeological discoveries. Number 12. The cursed tomb of Beit Sha'arim. King Tut gets all the attention whenever people talk about cursed tombs, but one burial chamber in Israel is far more mysterious simply because nobody has ever gone inside. It was discovered at Beit She'arim, an ancient necropolis where no new tomb had been found for more than 60 years. Before anyone even thought about crossing the entrance, something odd caught their eye. Painted in faded red letters was a warning promising misfortune to whoever disturbed the grave. The inscription even mentions the name Yaakov Hagar, together with a curse aimed at anyone bold enough to break the seal. Around 1800 years ago, grave robbers were a constant threat, so protective messages weren't uncommon. But this one feels strangely personal, almost as if whoever wrote it feared something far beyond ordinary theft. Archaeologists have recorded every visible detail outside the chamber, but the tomb itself has remained sealed because of preservation concerns and the possibility that it was intentionally protected from being reused in later centuries. Whatever is behind that entrance has remained completely untouched ever since. Number 11. The mysterious petrified book well. This book shouldn't exist, not because anyone has proved it's impossible, but because everything about it seems to belong to the wrong chapter of Earth's history. The object was presented by Australian researcher Thomas Kaminsky, who described a fossilized formation that looked remarkably like a closed hardcover book, complete with what appeared to be a spine and metal-like edges. Estimates placed it at more than 330 million years old. A time when paper had never been invented, humans had not appeared, and even the dinosaurs were still far in the future. Unsurprisingly, the discovery sparked endless debate. Could unusual mineral deposits have shaped an ordinary rock into something so familiar, or was it nothing more than a rare geological coincidence? Geologist Ian Plimer argued that petrification under particular pressure and oxygen-free conditions can occasionally produce deceptive forms. Professor Jane also pointed to its striking symmetry and apparent metallic bindings while avoiding firm conclusions. It was found in the Carboniferous period rock, so was it just a coincidence? Well, let us know. Number 10. Code of Hammurabi. A stone covered with writing rarely becomes a mystery, yet this one has managed to fascinate historians for nearly 4,000 years. Long before modern courts existed, King Hammurabi ordered 282 laws to be carved into a towering slab of black basalt, creating what is now known as the Code of Hammurabi. Written in Akkadian, the inscription dealt with trade, theft, disputes, personal injury, and many other parts of daily life. What continues to surprise researchers is not simply its age, but the sophisticated legal ideas it contains, including protecting the vulnerable and requiring evidence before punishment. Around 1200 BCE, the monument disappeared after being taken by the Elamite king Shutruk-Nakhunte, remaining hidden for centuries before a French expedition uncovered it in 1901. Today, it stands inside the Louvre, but one mystery has never completely faded. Why was such an extraordinary monument carried hundreds of miles instead of being destroyed like so many others? Whatever its journey, this strange artifact still connects the modern world with one of humanity's earliest attempts to define justice and law. Number 9. The ancient fossilized footprints, the origins of mankind, remain one of history's greatest unanswered questions, which is why every ancient footprint attracts so much attention. In May 2023, archaeologists announced the discovery of the oldest known human footprints ever found in Germany. They were uncovered at the Schningen open-cast lignite mine and date back more than 300,000 years. Researchers believe they were left behind by Homo heidelbergensis, an early human species that once walked beside an ancient lakeshore. The site preserved far more than footprints alone. Tracks from enormous straight-tusked elephants measuring around 21 inches, together with Europe's first known Pleistocene rhinoceros footprint, were also identified nearby. Excavations produced stone tools, wooden hunting weapons, butchered animal bones, and the remarkably preserved remains of a female forest elephant believed to have been scavenged by early humans. Together, these discoveries offer a rare glimpse into a vanished world, suggesting complex survival strategies and close interaction with massive animals. But its full story is still a mystery. Number 8. The cat and humanoid geoglyphs of Nazca lines in Peru are pretty famous. But why would people living there thousands of years earlier draw gigantic cats, strange human figures, and creatures that barely resemble anything alive today? That question became even more intriguing in 2023 when aerial surveys over Peru's Palpa province found dozens of huge geoglyphs hidden across the desert. Most had faded so badly that they remained invisible until drones and modern imaging brought them back into view. Unlike the better-known Nazca lines, these figures are believed to have been created by the Paracas or Topar cultures more than 2,500 years ago, making them several centuries older. Many depict human forms, while others resemble animals with unusually stretched bodies, oversized heads, or unfamiliar features that continue to puzzle researchers. Without written records, nobody can say what their creators intended. Sacred ceremonies, territorial boundaries, or messages carrying meanings now lost have all been suggested. What's your take? Number 7. Klaus Dona artifacts. If you think every mysterious archaeological discovery deserves to be believed, this one might make you think twice. In 2018, a collection known as the Klaus Dona artifacts spread across the internet after being presented as 7,000-year-old objects reportedly discovered inside a cave somewhere in Mexico. The stone carvings showed unusual humanoid figures with oversized heads, large almond-shaped eyes, and what appeared to be strange flying objects. To many viewers, they looked uncannily similar to the so-called gray aliens often described in UFO stories. The images exploded across social media after a video appeared on the UFOmania YouTube channel. But the excitement quickly raised difficult questions. Nobody has revealed the cave's location, no excavation records have ever been produced, and no independent archaeological team has examined the collection. The artifacts also appear clean, showing none of the weathering or soil deposits usually expected from objects buried for thousands of years. Number 6. A wand with creepy human faces. Humans have been creating art for thousands of years, but this one is chilling. In Tel Carasa, excavations revealed a 9,000-year-old wand carved from the rib bone of an auroch, the wild ancestor of modern cattle. Its surface carries two lifelike human faces, making it one of the earliest realistic portrayals ever discovered in prehistoric Syria. The discovery became even more intriguing because it came from a burial ground containing the remains of around 30 headless individuals. Researchers later found that many of those missing skulls had been placed inside nearby homes, suggesting unusual funerary customs unlike anything practiced today. Measuring less than 5 inches in length, the wand is broken at both ends, leading archaeologists to believe additional faces may once have completed the object. Whether it honored ancestors, played a role in spiritual ceremonies, or served another forgotten purpose remains unknown, keeping this chilling artifact among archaeology's most puzzling discoveries. Number 5. The Mystery Towers of the Himalayas. When you think of the Himalayas, towering snow-covered peaks usually come to mind. Few people imagine hundreds of ancient stone towers standing quietly across isolated mountain villages with nobody able to explain exactly why they were built. Their story reached the outside world in 1998 when French researcher Frédéric d'Aragon began documenting these forgotten structures. The investigation revealed something remarkable. Many of the towers were designed with star-shaped or square layouts and built using techniques that make them surprisingly resistant to earthquakes. Stone, timber, and mortar were combined with impressive skill, allowing several to rise more than 60 feet into the air. Their doorways sit high above the ground, suggesting ladders were once needed to enter, perhaps for protection during dangerous times. Historians believe some ancient trade routes were overlooked, while others may have reflected the influence and wealth of powerful families. Their exact age remains uncertain, with estimates ranging from 600 to well over 1,000 years. After all this time, no one can explain them. Number 4. Gabelian Man and the Tattooed Mummies. This man was buried more than 5,500 years ago beneath the hot desert sand near Gabelian. According to science, there should have been very little left for him to reveal after all this time. Surprisingly, the opposite happened. He was discovered in 1896 and spent well over a century inside the British Museum, where he was admired as one of Egypt's finest naturally preserved mummies. Nobody imagined that the biggest discoveries were still waiting. Modern CT scans carried out in 2013 found a fatal stab wound in his back, revealing that he had been violently killed while still a young man, probably around 20 years old. Another surprise arrived in 2018, when infrared imaging exposed faint tattoos that had faded from human sight thousands of years ago. Animal-shaped figures covered his skin, making them the earliest known figurative tattoos ever found. The mystery deepened after similar markings appeared on another naturally preserved mummy, now known as the Gebelian Lady, proving this tradition reached beyond a single individual. But the meaning behind those ancient symbols has never been explained. Number 3. Tabula Cordonensis Well. We've seen a lot of ancient writings survive the passage of time, but very few continue to keep their biggest secret locked away. One example is the Tabula Cordonensis, a bronze tablet discovered in 1992 during routine work in Cortona. Broken into 7 pieces, it carries one of the longest surviving inscriptions ever found in the Etruscan language, a language that scholars still cannot completely understand. The tablet is believed to be around 2,200 years old, yet one crucial detail continues to frustrate every attempt at translating it. Archaeologists are convinced an 8th fragment once existed, and many believe it could contain the missing lines needed to complete the entire text. The surviving inscription appears to mention vineyards, farmland, household furnishings, and even Lake Trasimeno, suggesting it recorded a legal agreement between prominent families. That interpretation, however, remains incomplete because too much of the story is still missing. Until the lost section is recovered or the Etruscan language is finally understood, this artifact will continue guarding answers that nobody has been able to read. Number 2. The Karnak Sound Temple. The Karnak Temple in Luxor is not simply a place where you can take selfies or admire towering columns. Hidden within this enormous ancient complex is a granite chamber that has puzzled visitors and researchers for years. Speak or chant at certain tones, and something unusual happens. The walls seem to answer back. Sound lingers, echoes in unexpected ways, and grows stronger, making the room feel almost alive. Many believe this was no accident. The chamber was built from granite containing large amounts of quartz, a mineral known today for its piezoelectric properties, allowing it to respond to pressure and vibration. Nobody knows whether the ancient Egyptians understood the science behind it, but some researchers believe they certainly understood the effect. One suggestion is that priests deliberately used the chamber during religious ceremonies, where chanting may have intensified spiritual experiences or produced trance-like states. Similar acoustic mysteries have been reported at ancient sites across the world, but Karnak remains one of the most mysterious examples. Now, let's end this. Number 1. the mysterious crocodile stone. It's been hundreds of years, yet people still cannot agree on what the crocodile stone at Wat Phu Temple was actually meant for. Standing in front of it, the mystery only grows deeper. Carved into the surface of this stone is a shape that many believe resembles a crocodile, while others see the outline of a human body. The temple surrounding it dates to the 12th century, although researchers believe the stone itself is much older, possibly reaching back to the 5th century, when the Chenla Empire controlled the region. That detail has led to countless debates. The Chenla people practiced elaborate rituals, including human sacrifice, encouraging some historians to wonder whether this stone once played a role in ceremonial offerings. Others dismiss that possibility, suggesting the carved grooves simply collected rainwater for religious